everybody. You are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff-bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Washington Commanders. And why are the Washington Commanders 0-16? Because they suck. And that never gets old. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all is going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. For anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. Going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Fire away, throw in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free. Fire away. But plus also, instead of me just rambling on for half hour, 45 minutes, or whatever might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free with the comments. Fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it means so much to me. I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Then finally, a little farther down, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link. I'll go over that in just a second. Then the other one, it's a Twitter. It's always been Twitter. It's Twitter today. It'll be Twitter tomorrow. It'll be Twitter 10 trillion years from now. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants to call it, that's on him. I'm not calling it that. It's Twitter. I have a Twitter account. Check it out. Twitter. You follow me, I will follow you back. That's a promise. I try to put stuff on my Twitter account. Twitter. I just like saying that. Oh, I got to move the chair for my buddy Randy here. All right. Okay, Randy's here. We can continue. Randy's here. One of these, I got to show him to you guys. Make a guest appearance on the show. But I said I try to put stuff in the Twitter account every day, Giants related. So if you follow me, I will follow you back. That's a promise. And then also the link above it, just above it, it's a Facebook link, takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a Facebook group. We have 7,000 members in there. It's doing very, very well. If I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in there darn near 365, almost every day of the year. And if you become a member, and not only do I put stuff, but members post stuff in there as well. So between me and the members we have in there, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in. The New York Giants, the Gridiron, the group on Facebook every day. Please become a member. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right, well, all that stuff said and done and out of the way with. All right, here we go. Woo! Team and player grades, baby. After the Dallas debacle. Oh, man. I'll tell you what, this is absolutely atrocious. All right, so let's see. So we're going to go over the, what do we got? We're going to go over the offense first here. Offense. Here we go. PFF, the grades. I tell you what, we made the Dallas defense look pretty good. Made the Dallas offense. 3 guys, according to PFF anyway. And it's hard to argue. Right? 3 guys on the Dallas Cowboys. Now 3. I mean, you get 2. That's pretty good. But you get 3 guys on your offensive unit or the defense that grade out over a 90. Holy crap. That's good. So somehow we made, here's what it is. I mean, Cooks, Prescott, and ABCD Lamb all graded out over a 90. Cooks, I think, is the highest I've seen all year. either 4 against the Giants. 94.1. Of course, he had, 13,000 receiving yards. I'm sure that helped. He only played 41 snaps. 94.1. Wow. Simply phenomenal. Dak Prescott, can't argue with this. 92.2. And AB CeeDee Lamb, 90.7. Simply fantastic. But see the Giants here. Deshaun Corbin, 15 snaps. He graded out of 76.7. All right. Let's see. What was he at? His passing grade. Pass receiving is a 79.3. Pass blocking, 73.3. His running grade was a 60. He was only in there for one run grade. A lot of times when they're injured, a lot of times for just one, play, pass and receiving or whatever. Like PFF always seems to give him like a lot of times the guys grade out at a 60. So, and his run blocking was a 60 as well too. So he was in there for one run play, and I guess it was a run blocking play, and he graded out at a 60. So, but Deshaun Corbin graded out 76.7 overall, and he was the highest graded Giant on offense. He was in there for 15 snaps. So that's promising. That's good to know, right? Sterling Shepard was in there for 11 snaps, graded at a 75.5. Andrew Thomas, he was in there for just 32 snaps. Of course, that's because, he got injured. He left. He came back. And even when he came back after he was injured, he still his pass blocking was an 86.7. Man, we are so lucky we drafted that guy, right? His run blocking was at 53.6, but once again, he was injured, so you don't know how much that affected his play. But he was third. He graded out of 66.1. Lawrence Cager, all right, okay, he was in there for just 13 snaps, graded out of 66. Sean Harlow, 15 snaps, graded out of 60.8. Tyree Phillips, right tackle for 57 snaps. He was in there for all 57 snaps. He graded out of 60.5. Saquon was in there for 35 snaps. He graded out of 59.2. He had some trouble with his pass blocking. He graded out of 38.9 was his pass blocking grade. Darius Slayton was in there for 45 snaps. He graded out of 58.5. Daniel Bellinger was in there for 46 snaps. He graded out of 54.6. Marcus McKeithen, he was in there for 11 snaps. He graded out of 54.4. His pass blocking was an 81. He was in there for 7 pass blocking snaps, and he graded out of 81. Wan'Dale Robinson, 27 snaps, 53.7. Paris Campbell, at least we got him on the field for a few snaps. He was in there for 17 snaps, graded out of 53.4. Jalen Hyatt was in there for 17 snaps, 53.3. John Michael Schmitz, who was in there for all 57 snaps, graded out of 52.8. Tyree Jackson. So at least they called him up and they got him in there. He was in there for 12 snaps, graded out of 50.2. Matt Breida was in there for 13 snaps, 47.8. Ben Bredesen at right guard was in there for all 57 snaps, 46.4. His pass blocking was at 20.3. Isaiah Hodgins was in there for 34 snaps, 42.5. Justin Pugh at left guard was in there 56 snaps. I guess he looks like he must have missed one. Left guard. Anybody who else played left guard here? Was it left guard? Huh. Don't know. I don't see anybody else for left guard here. But it says Justin Pugh, 56 snaps. So I don't know. The Giants didn't have a left guard for one of the snaps. Don't know. But he graded out of 40.9. And Tommy DeVito, he was in there for all 57 snaps. He was the worst graded one. He was 39.8. But, it's kind of hard. It's like, you're going to grade the quarterback as the worst one. And the guy was running for his life on what was it? Big Blue Kickoff Live today. John Schmelk, because he breaks down the film. He'll watch the film. He'll watch the all 22. He'll sit there for 3.5 years watching every play, diagnosing, charting this down and all that. So that's why I listen to those guys, because they do that. They spend their life, they trade their life to watch the game film and break it down and chart it down and all that. So that's why I listen to those guys. I don't do it. Not going to do it. They do it. So they do a very good job of it. They do a better job than I do, or I could do, or I'm going to do. So that's why I listen to them. But John Schmelk, interestingly enough, I can't remember what series it was. I think it was early in the game, if I'm not mistaken. He was saying, it might have been the second or third drive he was talking about. The Giants actually had 8 guys, when I had the Giants on offense, had 8 guys in protection. 8. So they had a 12 package, right? So DeVito drops back. I don't know who the running back was, but then they had 2 tight ends and a running back. And 8 guys. That's a lot. Protection against 5 rushers. And so they had basically 2 guys going on a pass pattern. And John Schmelk was bringing up, he said that as DeVito was dropping back, as he was like setting up or something like that, there were guys in his face already. We had like 8 guys, 3 of the guys out of the 5, 3 of them were getting double teamed. And somehow they still managed to get pressure on the Giants. It's just absolutely amazing. And it's a shame, because it's like you couldn't really get a chance to see what DeVito can do fully, because he was just under duress basically the whole game. It was just, honest to God, I would be absolutely 2 things. One thing, shocked if the Giants don't draft the quarterback with the first or second round, right? Absolutely shocked they don't draft the quarterback. And I would be absolutely shocked if Bobby Johnson's back in next season. Absolutely. We've seen other quarterbacks out there do more with less. We've seen other quarterbacks out there, or other offenses, this, that, and the other thing, do more, a lot more. This guy's a 5th round pick. This guy's an undrafted free agent. This guy's a 3rd round. The center's a 4th rounder. The right tackle's a 7th rounder. Just throw them out there. And if you go, you looked. What the Patriots, the game in Germany. They were able to run the ball. Their passing game's not that great, but I'll tell you what. They snap the ball, turn around, hand the ball off. The way they're blocking it all, you could just see holes. Oh, it's like I was just like, man, they got some holes, And you start looking at some of these offensive lines. It's like, you realize, right? Right. Now I know Justin Pugh's past his prime. I get that, and all. I get it, and all that, and everything. But you realize, if we actually had, if we did, of course, we're not allowed to this season. Sometimes you just not. It doesn't matter what you do, you're just not allowed to. And the Giants are just not allowed to get their offensive line healthy and all on the field. We're just not allowed to. The football gods are not preventing us. They're preventing us from allowing that to happen. But I'm saying, it still wouldn't matter. But you realize that if we had Neal, Thomas, Pugh, and Schmitz out there, right, we'd have 3 first rounders and a second rounder out there. And our offensive line looked like Swiss cheese. It just absolutely just trash. Absolute total trash. Like they were pointing out, I don't remember exactly what play it was. They were saying it was a run blocking play, McKeithen, a run blocking play, right? Somehow, I said, I don't remember. It was on Big Blue Kickoff Live. They were talking about this. Somehow, Marcus McKeithen got turned around on a run blocking play. So if he's like facing, you know, I mean, like, you know, they're calling signals and he's got his hand down, right, and they snap the ball and something I don't remember what, because I don't remember what play it was, but he got turned around and he was like facing like Tommy DeVito and he was like getting ready to block, like I mean, like his back was to the defense and he was blocking. It looked like he was going to try to block like DeVito or something. I mean, what the is that? I mean, you know, we are just unprepared. And I get it. I get it. You know, the different lineups and all of that. But some of this stuff is just absolutely atrocious. Some of it, just, I mean, it's just like kindergarten stuff. Absolute kindergarten stuff. I mean, I would be absolutely shocked if they had brought Bobby Johnson back. I mean, this offensive line has just been absolute trash. I mean, you know, I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, you know, maybe there's no help in Evan Neal. Don't know. He went to a camp or went to get help this off season. Doesn't seem like it's helping. Of course, he's had his injury problems. But, you know, when you get somebody, you're drafting somebody, you know, 7th overall, and, you know, I mean, I think I would have to really think, you know, maybe the real good offensive line coaches could maybe get something out of him, you know, maybe where he doesn't look that atrocious. But, you know, when you can't help the guy out at all, I mean, as I said, talking about Marcus McKeithen getting turned around and like kind of blocking the backfield. I mean, dude, turn around. The Cowboys are the other side, right? I mean, just absolutely trash. I mean, just like, I get it. You know, you have the guys, you know, playing together and the cohesion. You know, I get that, but some of it is just the guys just don't seem to be prepared. Just don't seem to be prepared. And you know, and it's the same thing with Kafka. I would be really shocked. Once again, just saying once again, is that, you know, other teams out there get more with like less. You know, you know, I mean, you know, the only good thing about yesterday, our points per game on defense, of course, that went up because we gave up, 712 points. But our points per game that we scored actually went up. And you figure if on 4th and 2, if we didn't go for it, if we just say kick the field goal, we would have actually scored 20 points yesterday. Holy crap, 20 points. But, you know, we'll settle for 17. You don't want to get too greedy, right? So, but actually, I was averaging, I don't know what we were. Oh, let's see here. Just for giggle's sake here. Let's see here. New York 2023. New York, your football Giants. I just want to see what let's see. Did they get to the 12 points per game mark here? What are we at? Nope, 11.8. Didn't quite make, but we're giving up 26.6 points per game, which is 29th in the league, and we're with 11.8 points per game, which is 32nd in the league. 11.8 points per game. So, but as I said, our points per game actually went up. We scored 17 points. Absolutely atrocious. Absolutely unbelievably atrocious. So, but yeah, I mean, I said, like with Kafka, I would be kind of shocked. I don't see. I couldn't possibly imagine. I mean, I'll tell you what. I said this in my video yesterday. Maybe it was, whatever. There's quite a few teams out there that are going, whew. Thank goodness we didn't hire that guy as our coach, right? I mean, because he went on 3 interviews last year, 3 or 4 interviews last year. He was the hot commodity. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of teams out there like, whoo, we almost hired him. Wow, he's got them at 11 points, 11 points per game, guys. Holy cow, that's trash. That is total trash. Oh, my goodness. All right, so let's go to the defense here. And the defense, and the same thing with defense. The Cowboys, on their defense, they actually almost had 3 guys at a 90 or plus. They had 2 guys. Bland was at 92.8. 92, I'm sorry, 92. Bell was 90.7. Dante Fowler Jr. was an 89.8. So he was just this close. Almost, they actually on their defense almost had 3 guys who graded out at a 90. Somehow, once again, Micah Parsons did not have he graded out at 55. He did not have a tackle. He had some hurries. He was in the backfield a lot, but he didn't have a tackle, didn't have a sack. Didn't have a hit. He had 4 hurries. That's all he did. So he got some pressure in the back. So he had DeVito hurry in the pass, but didn't get a hit, didn't get a sack. Once again, the Giants, I mean, once again, a couple things, as usual, with the Cowboys. Once again, the Giants lost to the Cowboys by over 50,000 points. That's just a common. That's the way it's going to be, I guess, forever, right? But once again, somehow we managed to keep Micah Parsons off the sack total. I mean, I don't know what it is. He's played 6 games against the Giants. Is that it? I think 4 to 6. He doesn't have a sack. I think 2 of the games he's got sacks, but I think 4 out of the 6 games he's played against the Giants, he doesn't have a sack. And he didn't even have a tackle yesterday. So of course, everybody else had tackles. I even had a tackle against the Giants. They just threw me on the field, and I got a tackle. Right, but so somehow we kept him off the board as far as tackles. So, but other than that, it was all downhill. All right, so let's say the Giants here. What do we got here? The Giants. Sexy Dexy 90.7. Unfortunately, he was pretty much about the only one. Unfortunately, Cordell Flott was having a good game. He graded out 76.1, but then of course he got hurt. Kayvon got hurt. Banks got hurt. Flott got hurt. Ashawn Robinson graded out well. He's 75.3. He was in there for 46 snaps. His run defense is good. It was good. Him and Sexy Dexy did decently in the run game. But Xavier McKinney had a good game, 71.6. He had 10 tackles. But, of course, that's not always the best thing when your safety is getting the most tackles on the team. That's not always the best thing. Isaiah Simmons, it's just a shame. It's just 12 snaps. He can't find more of a role for him. It's a shame. Graded out of 69. Boogie Basham, 41 snaps of 68.9. Azeez Ojulari was in there for 17 snaps. Now, of course, we'll have to sit down and listen to the news to find out exactly what part of his body's injured now. That'll keep him out for the next 4 or 5 games. But as far as that, I mean, I haven't heard anything yet. But I'm sure something will be coming up where Azeez got injured during the game in those 17 snaps, and he'll be injured for the next 3 or 4 games. So, but anyway. But Azeez Ojulari, 60.6. He was in there for 14 pass rush snaps. He had 2 hurries. So, let's see. Micah McFadden was 59.8. What hurt him was he had some missed tackles. He had 2, according to this, he had 2 missed tackles. So that's what hurt his grade quite a bit. Trey Hawkins was in there for 34 snaps, graded out 58.7. Kayvon Thibodeau, now, of course, he got injured. He was in there for 40 snaps, 58.4. So he might have to wind up missing. I mean, if he's concussion, he might be missing this week against the Commanders. Nick McLeod was in there for 54 snaps, graded out of 57.3. Darnay Holmes was in there for 40 snaps. He graded out at 57.1. Bobby Okereke, 55.7. He was in 78 snaps. The Cowboys had almost 80 plays against the Giants. Absolutely atrocious. Dane Belton was in there for 12 snaps, graded out at 49.2. DJ Davidson was in there for 32 snaps, graded out at 47.7. Nacho was in there for 35 snaps, graded out at 47.3. Bobby McCain, good to see his name out there. 16 snaps, 46.8. Jason Pinnock, 77 snaps, 45 he graded out at. Jihad Ward was in there for 54 snaps at 42.3. And Deonte Banks, he also got hurt. So we'll have to see how that goes with him. But he had a rough game, 38.1. So they targeted him 6 times. He gave up 5 receptions. So he gave up 83.3% target. He gave up 87 yards. So he had a rough game. All right, so now that does that. So now as always, okay, we always go here and to the overall team grades. Now, the Giants, the past bunch of weeks, I haven't checked this out, so I don't know. But the past bunch of weeks, there's 13 categories as far as PFF. There's the special teams, there's the passing grade, pass blocking, running, run blocking, the overall team. So there's 13 categories that PFF has. The Giants, the past 2 or 3 weeks, have been the number 32 in 5 of those 13 categories. So that's about as unbelievably pathetic as you can possibly imagine. So let's see what we have here. Let's see how many. Let's see if they've gotten any better. I highly doubt it when you lose 49-17. I hardly imagine anything got any better. So we start off with the overall team grade. Now, the 49ers are number 1. 93.1 is their team grade. The Giants are number 32. Okay, 56 is the overall team grade. Offensive grade. Detroit Lions, number 1, 85.2. The Giants are number 32. So now it's 2 categories. They're number 32. 54.8. Passing grade. Dolphins number 1 at 89. And the Giants passing grade, the Giants number 25 with a 57. Now, that's passing. Pass blocking, the Giants are usually in last place. Vikings number 1 at 78.3. And the Giants are 1, 2, 3, 4. Giants are number 1. 35.6 is their pass blocking grade. 35 for a team. Trash. So that's 3 categories the Giants are last in. All right. Receiving grade. Let's see here. 49ers number 1, 89.6. Receiving grade. Giants are number 32. 59.8. So the Giants are last place, 4 categories. Let's see. Running grade. Dolphins number 1, 92.8. Running grade. Giants are number 26, 68.9. Run blocking. Who is number 1 here? The Lions, 75.3. They do have a good offensive line there. Run blocking. Giants, number 32, 45. So 5 categories. Once again, the Giants are in last place in 5 categories. Now that we have the defense and the special teams. So let's see here. I think the Giants are okay here, but overall defensive grade, the Jets, 89.8. If they only had an offense, if Aaron Rodgers was healthy, they'd be battling for a playoff spot. The Giants are number 23, 63.5 is their defensive grade. Run defense. Falcons number 1, 78.2. And the Giants are number 23, 60.4. Speaking of the Falcons, We all want to thank them for losing to the Cardinals, because the Cardinals were up there as far as the draft, right? They were up. Kyler Murray came back, spurred the Cardinals on to a last-minute field goal winning drive. Cardinals get the win. Cardinals get a win, and pushed the Giants up in the draft order. So thank you, Kyler Murray. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, tackling grade here. See, Cowboys number 1, 77.8. The Giants, let's see here, number 22. 53, the Giants are. Pass rushing grade. Giants have been a little high on this. Not bad. Browns are number 1, 90.8. The Giants are number 14 somehow, 73.4. Somehow the Giants get no pass rush. They get no hits. They get no sacks. They get no hurries. They get absolutely nothing. Somehow, according to PFF, the Giants are number 14. I have no idea how that happens. Coverage grade. Jets, 92.4. They're very good coverage, as we found out when we played them, because we had, minus passing yards. Giants number 27, 56.8 as far as our coverage grade. Special teams was usually the Saints. The Saints fell down at number 3. Seahawks number 1, 90.6. Giants special teams were number 26, 66.3. So once again, the New York Giants, New York Football Giants, are the last place in 5 of those 13 categories, number 32. Absolute trash. All right, so then I seen this article. This was kind of interesting. Kind of interesting here. See, now, let's not forget. I mean, so far, 10 games. It's just 10 games into the season. Still got a ways to go, right? The Giants are, let's see, Giants have scored 118 points. Have given up 266 points. So that's 148 points, point differential. So we're at a minus 14.8 points per game. Trash. Absolute trash. And I saw this article from USA Today. And it says on there, it says, I can scroll down here. Oh. Whoops. Where are we at? Yeah, scrolling up to that. There we go. The New York Giants could be statistically the least competitive team of the modern NFL. Now, this doesn't mean of all time or not like that, just of the modern NFL. All right. Let's see. So the Indianapolis Colts were 2022's least competitive NFL team. So last year. After firing Frank Reich and hiring former player Jeff Saturday, a man with no coaching experience whatsoever. I mean, I don't know, you know. Zero coaching experience above the high school level. The Colts were 4-12-1, came in with a minus 138 point differential, worst among the league's 32 teams. The New York Giants have only played 10 games. Their point differential is a stunning minus 148. Basically, we're losing every game by 15 points. We're losing every game by more than 2 touchdowns. That's not quite on pace to make history as the least competitive team of the NFL's modern era, but it's enough to make this dubious achievement possible. Since 1970, the season, the merger, the AFL-NFL merger, there have been 42 teams, excluding teams in strike-affected seasons, to have had an average weekly margin of victory of negative 12 points or more. In other words, you take the points that you scored, subtract the points that you've allowed, and divide that by the number of games you played, and you get a negative 12 or worse. As it stands, the Giants at 14.8 points per game deficit only ranks 14th worst among them, but remains the worst since 2009. The 76 Bucks are number 1. expansion team. They had nobody to play. Nobody. I mean, yes, it's not even compared. They're the worst margin of victory. They lost by 20 and a half points per game. They lost by. So basically, every 2 games they lost by a grand total of 41 points. Their record was 0-14. They lost 26 straight games. They finally won the last 2 games of the 77 season. The first game they ever won was against the Saints, and then the next week they beat the Cardinals. And oddly enough, those 2 coaches, for the Saints and the Cardinals, both got fired after the season was over with. But the New England Patriots of 1972 were 3-11. They lost by a combined 18.14 points per game. So the Giants, are 14th overall at 14.8 points per game. I said, this is bad, but I believe in the Giants' capacity to be even worse. New York has the bones to not only break into the top 10, but break into the league's post-2000 high watermark for futility, which would be the 2008 Detroit Lions. Yeah, the 2008 Detroit Lions didn't win a game. They were 0-16. Their point margin of losses was 15.56 points per game. So the Giants are really close. But the Giants have a softer schedule coming up. So if the Giants might even win a game, right? We do have a couple tough ones against the Eagles where we're going to lose by about 40 or 50 points. That's a given. But, against the Patriots, right, the Packers, the Saints, the Rams, and the Commanders, we might lose all 5 of those, but may not be by 15 or 20 points a game. So let's see here. I said, the 2008 Lions, they had their second year Calvin Johnson and rookie Cliff Averill, and basically no one else you'd remember fondly. I remember that was Dan Orlovsky, right? Who was panicked years before, constantly expressing terrible opinions on Twitter, running away from Jared Allen and out of the back of his own end zone for safety. What a moron. These 2023 New York Giants, they have Saquon Barkley, Dexter Lawrence, they have Daniel Jones, Leonard Williams, but the former is out for the rest of the season, and the latter was freed from football hell when he was traded to the Seattle Seahawks. The current quarterback is Tommy DeVito, an undrafted rookie free agent who began the season as the team's third-string quarterback and has been outscored 79-23 in his first 2 NFL career, 2 starts of his NFL career. The schedule over the back end of their schedule isn't as intimidating. Next week, that's the Commanders that they beat 14-7. Half of the New York's 6 opponents after that have 3 wins or fewer after week 10. The Giants may not only be competitive in these games, but they might even win a game. Who knows, right? But this is also a team that faced a then 3-5 Las Vegas Raider team led by 4th-round rookie Aiden O'Connell and an interim head coach, and they still lost 30-6. It managed -9 net passing yards in a Week 8 loss to the Jets. There are several bad teams in the Giants' sights, and New York may significantly be worse than all of them. How bad would they have to be to set varying stages of NFL futility records? Oh, friends, I'm glad you asked. I mean, the Giants would have to lose, let's see, for the Giants to lose their final 7 games by an average margin of 16 points per game, they could even throw a win or 2 in there and get their blowouts big enough to produce a minus 112 point scoring differential. But let's just assume each game is a loss to simplify things. Final margin of victory 2023 could possibly be maybe minus 260 points that we're talking about. And at 15.29 points per game, just eligible to slide ahead of the 3-11 1976 New York Jets for the 10th spot. I don't see the Giants breaking into into that, because it's just, I don't see the Giants possibly, being like the worst team of all time, because of the soft schedule coming up, but who knows? Let's see. Yeah, it says here in this article that realistically, for them to get into the top 10 is a little unrealistic. But New York's mission now is to lose the games that will deliver a high draft spot, but not lose by so much the Giants go down in history as a result. That's a narrow tightrope to walk, and Tommy DeVito will be the one walking it. He could be the difference between historically putrid and merely awful this season. But let's not also forget, Tommy DeVito also got injured, right? He was getting like an X-ray or something on his shoulder. I believe he was having something with his shoulder. So maybe one of the times he got hit, he got sacked, got knocked down to the ground, whatever it was. Maybe something was so. Who knows? I mean, I don't even. We might even want to have seen Barkley in there. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what with the official injury report coming out and stuff like that. Wednesday rolls around. Who knows? I mean, is Evan Neal going to go on the injury reserve? I mean, he's walking around on crutches. I mean, you're walking around on crutches. That's not a good thing, right? I mean, you're not. Right. I mean, we're not looking at like a missing one game. I'd have a hard time believing. I mean, so he might go back on injury. Who knows? Banks was injured. Flott was injured. Kayvon, concussion, right? So he might probably miss it. Maybe we might get Adoree back because he had the concussion protocol. So we might get Adoree back, but he had a problem with his neck too. Who knows? Said Neil, Jalen Hyatt. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing how every week, every time there's a player hurt, it's a Giant. I mean, I can. Does anybody remember another player on another team getting injured in any of these games? I mean, it's absolutely amazing. How we basically lost like another, 4, 5, 6 guys? How does every week that happen? It's just unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I mean, it's a shame. It's like you live for the football and all that stuff. But I mean, it's just between, the injuries and the bad luck and all that stuff and bad coaching and whatnot. It's just this season can't get over with fast enough. I mean, for me anyway. I mean, it's just absolute trash, and it's only getting worse. I said maybe the only bright spot to this whole thing is that, the Giants are really looking for a quarterback. Is that, I'm certainly not saying ain't nobody tanking. They're not tanking to lose a bunch of games. But I said, but if they do wind up losing, we got 7. I mean, if they do wind up losing, 5 out of the 7, right? They'll wind up with 4 wins. That might knock them out of the top 5, but they might be able to just trade up and maybe get because I'll tell you what, with Kyler Murray, right? I mean, he come back. The Cardinals aren't looking for a quarterback, right? The Bears, they're not. I think with Justin Fields, I think they're good there. The thing is, because the Patriots, they're trash, absolute trash. They need a quarterback. They're going to get a quarterback. I mean, I'd be absolutely shocked if they don't draft a quarterback. The Giants need to draft a quarterback, but I'm saying, but if the Giants wind up with a couple wins, they'll be getting a quarterback, but they might have to trade up. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, they've got a long way to go. I said there could be one small, silver lining in all of this. I said just absolute. The injuries and all that stuff, the Giants are just not winning football games. They're not good, with the bad luck and the injuries and all that. So the Giants having such a horrible record, they might just keep them in the top 5 and just right on target to be able to draft a good quarterback, whoever that might want to be. So, I mean, everybody might be looking at Caleb Williams, while maybe Shane and Dable might be looking at film and this, that, and the other thing, and they might like somebody else. So that might just be fine. And so we'll have to wait and see. But we still got 7 weeks and plus a bye week. So we still got, unfortunately, however you want to look at it, we still got 2 more months left of this trash season. It is what it is. Well, guys, it's been almost 45 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you, thank you, thank you. Or if anybody spends any time listening to replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.